Hello and welcome back to the 80s Cinema Club.
1980s, not 1880s.
Yes,
Or 1780s.
That's true.
we have to specify this because people may get confused.
We've only specified it in episode 19. Took a while.
This is episode 19
Yes.
on Back to the Future, which was released in 1985, and we are joined by a guest. His name is Lewis Willoughby. He is our friend.
Full name drop there.
He lives at... Not going to dox him.
You don't even know where I live.
I don't know where you live.
He crawls out from the sewers every morning.
Yes, say hello, Lewis.
Hello, Lewis.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Lewis will be joining us over the next 3 weeks for each Back to the Future film
He will, yeah.
as we have watched them together, and we're going to review them together.
That is generally what we do.
Yeah, it is.
We could remake them.
6 hours in Harry Peen's house couldn't be.
Couldn't be any worse.
Guantanamo Bay.
Either that or like a Chinese gulag.
Yeah.
I don't like my house being compared to these things.
Maybe you should let us out.
Back to the film.
We have to work until we're allowed out.
Back to the Future was directed by Robert Zemeckis. It stars Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, Christopher Lloyd as Dr. Emmett Brown, Leah Thompson as Lorraine Baines, Crispin Glover as George McFly, Tom Wilson as Biff Tannen, and Claudia Wells as Jennifer Parks. The plot is as follows. Marty McFly is a typical American teenager of the 80s and is accidentally sent back in time to 1955 in a plutonium-powered DeLorean time machine invented by a slightly mad scientist. During his often hysterical, always amazing trip back in time, Marty must make certain his teenage parents-to-be meet and fall in love so he can get back to the future.
Got ourselves a chatterbox over here.
The film had a budget of $19 million. How much do you think it made?
A lot. Probably like 200 million. Maybe 300.
Sorry,
400.
my arrow's the wrong way around. Like 583 million.
It made 381.1 million, so he's kind of in the middle of both of them. That's it then. We shall get on with the rest.
Likes and dislikes.
The section where we talk about our likes and our dislikes.
If that wasn't already obvious. Do you have any likes of the film, Lewis?
I like the film.
I thought it was kind of like, yeah.
I like the story, I like the music, I like the actors.
This is a very boring start to this section.
Sure, Harry. Alright,
What do you know about podcasting?
Yeah. What are you, Joe Rogan? Andrew Tate? Come on, bro. What do
I'm
you
not
like about
Andrew
the-
Well,
Tate.
Harry Peen is Andrew Tate, that'd be
Come on,
weird.
what do you like about the film?
Anyway.
So, let's start. The opening scene with the clocks and the news report is probably not one of the best, but a really good establishing shot.
Very iconic.
Yeah, it is, to set up what
Clocks.
is going to happen in the film. So obviously the news report speaks of the missing plutonium.
Yep.
And we don't know that, like, because we don't know who Doc is yet. We don't know that he's stolen it, but something's going on. And then you see Marty. You don't see Marty's face until after he gets blown away by the massive speaker.
True.
So I think it kind of gives him already that bit of character personality that I guess he's a bit reckless.
Before
He
you
just
even get
plugged
to see
in everything to this massive amp, put it up the thing, and then like blew it up.
We've all been there
We've all been there.
Yeah.
You
Normal
have done
Friday
that?
night.
a few times.
A few times. Fair enough.
I know a lot of old men that run labs, so it's a
Only natural, really, isn't it?
common occurrence, I guess.
I mean, not old men who run labs have massive amps.
Yeah, but the ones I know do.
The ones you know. Okay, like Lewis said before, I think the music is quite a standout
Like
thing.
Mr. Sandman, Power of Love,
Yeah,
other such songs.
Back in Time.
Whatever you say, Harry. Whatever you say.
Yeah, I don't know much about the songs,
Did
so
you
I
know
can't comment.
Huey Lewis from Huey Lewis and the News actually plays the teacher in the band audition who stops Marty McFly singing?
All right, okay.
It's a fun fact for you there.
It's a very fun fact.
Remember it for the trivia quiz. It's not on
If
it.
that's, that's one of the questions.
Right.
I thought the Save the Clock Tower exposition lady, as I've written her down, was pretty funny.
Oh
It's
god,
when
yeah.
Jennifer
That's such
and
a
Marty
daft
are sat on the wall and she comes over shaking the tin, but she immediately goes, "Save the clock tower! It got struck by lightning in 1955."
She's not even looking at them as well. In the scene, she looks like she's got 1,000-yard stare in the distance. Also, surely it doesn't take 30 years for them to start caring about a clock tower.
I know, you'd think if it was the whole town could pay for it.
Yeah, and then again, spoiler alert for the future part. It's like in Back to the Future, they're still caring about it fucking 60 years on. They're not doing anything. They're like, no, we need it still.
Do you
We'll
think
get
they
onto
still need
that
the clock
again.
tower, Lewis?
This will be
I
the clock
mean,
tower.
I think
too,
people have
today.
watches nowadays. In the olden days, if you wanted another time, you had to look at the sun or look at a clock tower. But nowadays, people have watches. And in those, they didn't have phones. But nowadays, they have phones. So clock towers are kind of useless. I've never been around and seen someone building a clock tower. But I've seen people use phones. I've seen one guy use the sun. And I've seen...
You've seen one
plenty of
guy
watches
use
in my time.
You're
yeah.
very in-depth into this.
Well, it's true. I just
Time
think
telling with Lewis.
It's
Clock
like
towers are a
when-
thing of the past.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like every time you
Temporary.
see something and it's like, we're saving to fix the church roof.
Stop.
The church roof never gets fixed. There's always somebody going, we need to repair the church roof.
Maybe he's money laundering. Maybe there never was a clock tower in the first place. Maybe it's just...
This is really becoming Joe Rogan.
I am Joe Rogan. So...
Anyway, I wrote down about how the family dynamic was so weird between his dad's incredible passiveness and his mum's.
Is this in the likes section?
This is just a general point.
Yeah.
I kind of liked the fact that the family made no sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
it wasn't
well,
your conventional choice for like your 80s sort of.
Well, I think it was
upper
trying to
middle.
show how like shit their life was, wasn't it? Because Marty is kind of just, I guess, an average teenager, but living in a weird home. Because his dad has like a dead end job.
True.
And he's getting bullied by Biff.
Yeah, his mum
Still,
seems to
yeah.
have let herself go. Like, she kind of just seems
That's
to...
a bit rude.
No, but like, you know
Jesus.
what? You know what I mean?
Jailbird Joey's still in jail as well. Tragically.
Yeah.
Marty's brother
Free my
is like
manners.
working at, I think it must be like a fast food restaurant, but like
Yeah, I
late
think
night
so.
shifts, and all his sister can think about is how she can't find any boyfriends. But she also looks like she's just a bit fed up with everything.
That feels like another jab.
What do you mean? It's just, I'm adding,
Yeah,
telling
alright.
the characters here.
Fair.
But yeah, I know what you mean. So like the family seems a bit.
It's definitely an interesting choice.
They all
It's
seem like out of
non-typical.
place,
Yeah.
don't they? Don't seem to work together, but then kind of do at the same time because they all seem to be in their
A
own
very
little worlds.
discontinuous family.
Yeah. I also like there's a load of small little details before he goes back to the future which like are alluding to what he does when he goes to the past.
Yeah.
So it's when it's in the house when the family talking, they make a point of saying that we fell in love when my dad
true.
hit him, grandpa
with a
hit you with
car.
the car, didn't he? And then funnily enough,
She
Marty
never
gets
sat in a parked car with a boy.
Oh,
I've never parked, she
Yeah,
said.
she's never parked a car.
That was at the Twin Pine Mall becomes the One Pine Mall.
The Lone Pine
Lone
Mall, Harry.
Pine
Mall. Sorry.
Lone Pine.
God.
The Lone Pine Mall because Marty runs it over when escaping the farm in
True, yeah.
1955.
Continuity.
Yeah, in continuity.
Police
Yeah,
farm.
I've got some quotes down, which I think some of the most famous quotes from the 80s, if not like, because this is considered as one of like the best trilogies of films, or like kind of people have seen. So like I always think because this film is a PG, you forget what some things got away with. So like, well, I mean, you do get like certain things in films now, but like when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit. It's like you tend not to hear many like swear words in a PG film nowadays,
That's true, yeah.
or like very minimal if it's like one,
Yeah.
like if it's gonna happen depending on what the film is. General things. Christopher Lloyd plays Doc Brown, and I couldn't see anyone else playing him the same way as like Michael Fox plays Marty, and they're such a good duo.
They are, yeah.
Very
I
good
definitely agree.
dynamic.
Yeah, very
They
good
do play off
dynamic.
each other very well. I think he definitely does bring Doc's almost bordering on craziness.
Yeah, well, he is
He gets
crazy.
institutionalized for a reason in the
He
other.
does, yeah. He kind
Yeah.
of shows. But he does play that kind of overly eccentric, very passionate scientist, I guess.
Yeah, I think he's like like when you think crazy scientists, it's like Frankenstein
And Doc
and
Brown.
Yeah, it's like
Doc Brown from Back to the Future.
Frankenstein and Einstein combined, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
true,
he's
actually.
not like
Craziness
totally
of
insane,
Frankenstein.
but because he's still very smart with what he says.
genius of Einstein.
But then obviously he has them weird facial expressions that he pulls out.
That is true.
Everyone.
But that just
once
seems
in a while.
Christopher Lloyd in general.
I also talked about the action scenes, meaning
The
like
Libyan terrorists.
yes, the Libyan
Scary
terrorists, as well as the skateboard
Is it
chase with Biff.
Oh
with,
yeah.
like the car. They're all filmed really well because I
Pretty
couldn't,
good.
I couldn't like because obviously it wasn't it was higher budget than most films,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like the budgets we see today when like stunts have been happening because it wasn't a stunt heavy film. But for what they did, it all did look very good for what like the car chase with the Libyans,
Yeah.
and then the skateboard and stuff. You could really feel the tension with some of the things that were going on.
That's true. I also love how the Libyan rebels who are firing, AKs and rocket launchers are in a blue Volkswagen.
Yeah, that was a really random.
We talked
car,
about that the other day, and it's just out of everything the Libyan terrorists chose,
Yeah,
they went
maybe like in a Jeep or something.
A Jeep,
more manly.
something a bit of a bigger car for Libyan rebels with guns.
Beach Boys showing up joining.
Yeah,
They came in a beach buggy.
that would have been pretty funny actually.
Scooby doing the guy.
Parade float.
That would maybe draw a bit. too
Shop
much
in the
attention to them.
DeLorean.
That would have been a good plot twist. They come
twist.
back from the
They're back from the future.
future where Libyans
Oh,
control the
no.
world.
The Libyan Empire.
Al Gaddafi taking over.
There's not like it's a really weird film to say things you like about because
Yeah, I've just got general points. Not really
I know
likes.
it's like because I like most things about it. It's kind of hard to pick out the things. So I just love the film
Mm?
because it's just a classic, like family film that you get introduced
Yeah.
to and you watch, and it's like I really love these characters, and there's just something about the plot that really like draws you in.
It's
So,
just
like-
that 80s sheen
So it's
on
like
it, isn't
time travel is always a weird or interesting
I
thing
guess
to
you
do.
could say it's timeless.
But you're gonna do the sound effect, Alfie. Not delayed at all.
it? Sorry, I scrambled to get that up there.
No, so I think it's like I don't know. When you do time travel,
That was
people
probably
can
way
make
too
it
loud, I
really
apologise.
confusing.
Yeah,
But they seem to like Doc always spurts out a lot of nonsense about what's happening,
true, but
but
it's
you
just
still
exposition
feel like
dumps.
you understand what he's saying.
I guess, yeah. One of my notes was sometimes it sounds like he doesn't speak English. 'cause
Yeah,
he's
I
that
know, but
fucking
that's
quick
like.
how he
But
speaks.
at least they didn't make like the joke. It's like speak English.
Yeah. True.
You kind of then feel like you do know what he's talking about, but it's not like other. I can't think of one off the top of my head like time travel film that's like really complicated.
Back to the Future 2.
Avengers Endgame.
Oh, yeah.
Hot Tub Time Machine,
Never seen that, thank God.
the greatest time machine film. No, I don't really have much as it. Just
Yeah,
it's
like
really-
I
I
said, I've
suppose
got, it's got general points.
basically, if you listen to this, Back to the Future is really good. It's that good. It's so hard to pick out what is like because it's. I think
You're
it's,
saying this now, but I've not rated it super highly, so I'll be interested to see how this goes.
well, I have. It's just.
I like the film, but it's not my sort of.
I don't know. I think.
I see it in the same lens as I have quite a few of them. That it's
Yeah.
your classic 80s film where not much really happens, but it's regarded highly. Kind of like Goonies,
Yeah.
where it's a good film to watch, but it's not like wow, this blew me away.
So I'd put as, for this film, this is probably one of the most nostalgic things
Fair,
I
yeah.
take from this because it's definitely one of like the first like group of films I was invested in as like a trilogy of
Okay, yeah.
like characters. So obviously you see single films and it's like I really like them characters in that, especially when you're young and you watch like Disney films and things. But you hardly ever watch like the straight to VHS sequels that like Aladdin had. Like you don't invest your time in that. When you watch the Back to the Future, it's like there's 3 films to love these characters for, and I do love them for them 3 films. Dislikes anyone?
Double denim. Marty McFly was wearing double denim in the 80s.
What the fuck's he
I
on?
mean, they had bad
Yeah, it's fashion death, really, isn't it?
Yeah, double denim and a puffer jacket. Who would have thought that?
A life preserver.
Yes, a life preserver.
If once I did kind of dislike some of the times that they overuse, like everyone going, "Oh, that's like a." I get that it's the drilling it home that it's not usual fashion, but some things once
I
or
think
twice
it kind of worked the first time, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's
yeah,
like
funny."
But then when like 4 people said it,
When it's like half an hour through the sequence and they're still saying
Yeah.
that he's wearing a life
it's
preserver.
like I get why they'd say it because they're just seeing it, but
Yeah.
the audience already know that people think it's a life preserver. So I get
True.
what you're saying.
Lorraine being so creepy.
Oh, that's the only thing which you
She's
do
so
not
fucking
notice when you watch it when you're younger. And I watched it
true.
again.
But again, it's probably
and
big, isn't it?
There is a YouTube series that I love called Pitch Meeting. It's done by Screen Rant on YouTube. The name of the actual guy who does it has like left my brain.
Jack.
Jack Black.
No, it's not Jack.
I'll find out really quick.
But he does like comedy pitch meetings of what it would have felt like for the screenwriter to go in and pitch this to the studio. And one of the main things he makes fun of is the whole scene where Marty explains the plan of he's going to pretend to force himself on his own mother so that George can come and hit him, and then like, you know, that is so weird.
Ryan George.
Ryan George, that's it. He's a really good YouTuber. Go check him out, whatever. But yeah,
it is really strange, isn't it? But there is.
It is. Because, I mean, the whole thing, you get why, because it's the whole thing of he gets hit by the car, and then his mum's supposed to, like, fall in love with whoever gets hit by the car.
But he's supposed to get hit by the car because he's peeping on his mother. Not Marty, but Marty's dad's peeping on his mother.
It's just... It's like the first scene you get, like the cleverness with him thinking it's a bad dream, and then his young mother wakes up, and obviously you're going to be scared.
God,
like, oh my god, like I wasn't supposed to run into you.
That's one thing though, it sets up like the trope, because every film in the
God,
trilogy has a scene where he wakes up in the bed.
Yeah.
There's so many of that throughout the whole film.
Which I
think
like
in this it
that.
works fine.
It's just... I mean, it's also they're trying to add to the comedy aspect of the mother in the future, like the present technically, that said that you know, I never did anything like that.
Yeah,
I never
she was
chased a boy.
born in
And then the first thing we see is just like her being really like seductive towards Marty. Like she's just sat there like scooching up to him on the bed even.
Weirdest part is she took his trousers off.
Yeah, and then like his mother comes, she's like, "Put your trousers back on."
Yeah. He's fully clothed, but you know, aside
I've
from
never
his trousers.
seen a man in purple underwear before.
That's
true fact.
Yeah. I mean, I get why. And it's
I
like,
wonder if she does it often.
It's like when we've done other films that have a bit weird themes like this. If you look past it, it's kind of like meaningless. It doesn't really matter.
True.
But it is, when you go back and watch it, it's like, I still really love this film, but this is pretty weird.
It's a bit of a strange choice, isn't it? Have we got anything else?
Maybe that's just how women were.
Oh, that's another one I put. There's just some things that...
I wasn't there, I can't say that.
I wasn't either.
No. There was some things that were said, like, at the beginning when Marty is late to school, the principal says, you're just like your father.
You're a
right?
slacker, just like your father.
But
Exactly.
he's nothing like his father.
Yeah,
We go back to 1955 when this guy was still like, you know, discipline to everyone. But George McFly is such a different person to his son. Like, George McFly is like a bumbling, like nervous, really, even in like, you know, in the original present day.
True. The surface.
And Marty is still kind of like an outgoing, stands up for himself, you know, cool dude.
I think
it's like what.
The point is really that they both have that issue with self-belief, because you get the whole thing of him trying to convince his dad that his work's good, and Marty himself doesn't believe in his talents. It's probably that slacker part, in that neither of them are really trying to push the boundaries of what they can do. They're just kind of too worried and necessarily fear and rejection to push beyond what they're already doing, which is why they're seen as a slacker, is why I took it at least.
I think to like carry on with the main thing about this film that isn't the greatest is like, well, it is. It's not bad. It's just weird when you look back on it. So it's like the sexual harassment by Biff, especially in the final scene where it's really bordering like on assault.
Yeah.
Because George McFly opens the door and she's like begging for him to help him.
Yeah.
Like
much.
That's not something nice to see. Like,
no, not really.
Some films nowadays really like tend to go away from that, and this film is a PG, and it's like,
it is mad, isn't it? This is probably one of the most like stark differences in age ratings that we've seen. Because obviously Big's kind of weird, like conceptually, but this is like actually weird stuff.
Like, there's nothing technically like. There's nothing graphic in the film, obviously. That's why it has the age rating it does. And as well as the fact it came like from 40 years ago, it's like, you know,
the themes
different views have changed. You know, people aren't as sensitive to things, and it might have been different when it came out. But it just, there is some like themes in it that are a bit weird, you know. And then there's Marty's mum. Just like all the things she said.
She scared me.
I wrote down some of the things she said. So what the main one was
Calvin Klein.
No, what was it? Oh no, where's he going or something? I was like, I don't know, but I'm gonna find out. Yeah. And then follows him to Doc's house.
He follows him for probably a few miles, I would have thought.
Well, yeah. And then there's the one where she sat at the dinner table with her family, and like she started drooling over him.
She tries to touch his knee under the table as well.
Yeah, she just sat there and she's like, oh, he can stay here, can't he? And she like says it like that. It's like,
what I do like, I like how she's all like fawning over him, and then her dad is saying, "Oh, if I ever
Yeah.
have a kid like him, I'm gonna go off."
I'll disown you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
A little bit of I don't know, irony maybe, something like that.
yeah. I don't. This is a really weird thing about this because I really love this film, but it's hard to say things about it. For me, anyway.
I guess so, yeah, because it's just sort of one of those films, like I was saying again, kind of like Goonies, where it's like you just like it.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that, like I was saying, the 80s sheen that makes the film just easy to watch and enjoyable.
But that's the thing. But then when you look into it, there's a lot more layers underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
So mainly, this is probably my final point. The end of the film, when he goes back to the future.
Well, or the present.
Yeah. And he wakes up in his house, right? Again. And everything's changed. But he doesn't remember anything from that timeline.
True.
Because
it's kind of weird.
His mum is like together now, like she's saying. His dad is like confident book writer. Biff's changed. His brother has a job. His sister it's gone
thousands of boyfriends.
Yeah, loads of different boyfriends. But Marty doesn't remember any of that.
No, it's
so
strange.
there's a different version of Marty who has lived through that life. Technically, if you think about it, and then been replaced. Technically,
I guess because that's the strange thing, isn't it?
Because they know Marty. They've been living with a Marty for 17 years. But that Marty technically isn't him because he doesn't know anything about what's happened.
Because that would be the Marty that then...
Well, no, it wasn't. We don't
travels...
know. It's just a bit of a weird little,
Next,
plot hole.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, isn't it? Because obviously then it's kind of establishing that there was the two universes from the start. Because that Marty would then travel back to the past. And he's... our Marty, original one, is there to save Doc Brown.
Exactly.
Even though he's already alright. It's kind of strange.
So, I mean, it's like... So he goes back to where he was before,
Back to the past.
but has obviously changed stuff because of George McFly standing up to Biff.
Yeah.
But he doesn't remember anything because of that.
It is, yeah.
He still has the memories of his original life.
I definitely think they try to gloss over that.
Which, I mean, it's not... It's, like I'm saying, it's nitpicking. It's not, a big deal. It's just something that you notice if you, really look into it. Like, if you watch this for the first time and you just wanted to, watch the film, it's like, oh, cool. He has a different
It's a happy
life now.
ending, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a happy ending. You know, everybody's got what they wanted. You know, he has a nice big car. You know, Jennifer and him are going to go to the lake.
Technically, it could correct itself later on because when he goes back in time and stops his parents from meeting,
that's true,
slowly, the future corrects itself. Him and his siblings disappear. So, in theory, he could, as time goes on, get those memories, but...
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the whole series does very much establish how complicated time travel is.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you go and like I said, it's a simple version of time travel until we go into it. Then and you're trying to figure out what's going on because technically the people who written it didn't know what was going on. It was just they wanted to do a time. Well, no,
they hadn't invented time travel.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean,
shit.
It's like nobody knows the laws of what's actually going to happen. So when they mess something up, it's not like you can go. Actually, that would. Well, no, we don't know.
No, it's just a guesswork,
something
isn't it?
You know.
Lewis knows.
Well, we've got the inventor of
this
time
is why,
travel.
It's why we've got his expert opinion, really, isn't it?
I've been around.
He's been around. He's seen it all.
So, have we got anything else to say? Or
No.
just rate this film.
The radiation suit looked like an Among Us character I wrote. That's about it. That was the only funny thing I've got there.
I thought it was funny that was a bit of casual animal testing.
Yeah.
With Einstein just being put in a possibly nuclear machine.
You see the scene when Einstein first uses the DeLorean, Doc Brown gets him and Marty right in front of him. And the fire tracks from the wheels go right between their legs.
That's a really cool shot. But
they would have both died. Yeah. You got to consider how surprised he was that it worked. They must have thought, this is going to kill us both. So,
that was the goal.
Yeah. He went, I'm 62 now. And I've got this 17-year-old friend. If we died, who's going to miss us? All in the name of science.
Clara.
Oh.
Clara Clayton.
Clara Clayton. That's a teaser for 2 episodes to come.
You'll have to wait for 2 weeks.
So ratings then. You obviously going to give it a rating, Lewis. We will not count it in the main score because that would mess up all our other things. So... What is the score and why have you given it that?
I'd say 8. It's one of my favourite films. Always has been. I used to like when I was little. Still like it now. I used to like watching it with my dad. I used to watch it weekly at my granny's house. It's a very good film.
Oh, that's fair.
Alfie?
I actually don't feel too bad about my rating now. I've given it 7.5. Because again, like I said, I can appreciate and like the film. It's just not my type. It's not my favourite film. I can, like I said, I appreciate for what it is, but it's not something that I'd be like, oh, if you have the free time to watch film, watch Back to the Future.
Yeah, so you give it 7.5.
7.5.
I don't totally disagree with you.
Mhm.
Like, I agree that I agree with what you're saying basically, but I have, I think, too much of a connection to the film
Yeah.
to like justify
makes sense.
giving it such a low score. But I also can't like justify giving it like a 10
Yeah.
because it's not perfect.
Yeah, it
and
definitely
that's
I
the
don't
thing
think
we always
anything
do
will ever
this,
get a 10.
Is it's gonna be hard to find a film that we can give a 10
That's
because
true.
when we give something a 10, it's like we're saying that this is the best.
I guess,
you know.
unless we take it like
Yeah, but-
opinionated wise.
No, yeah, obviously everyone's got different. Like I watch the films like this is amazing, but there is little things with this film that
True.
I think bring off. So I've given it a 9.5,
Wow.
which brings the grand total of our thing to an 8.5.
So I think that's the highest so far, isn't it?
No, I think it's the second.
Stand By Me is like 8 point something, isn't it?
I shall have a look now. We just
Go quickly stall.
just managed to
To sort out the ratings.
start the
today.
rating, didn't we?
The only film I would give it 10 out of 10 is the
No, Stand By
Transformers
Me
film.
is an 8.8.
Oh, okay.
So
So Stand By Me.
this is
first
the
then.
second highest film.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, I probably would have given it more around what you said, but I can't ignore the fact
The personal
that I
which is
really,
fair, yeah.
really love this film
That is
just
kind
for
of the
what it
idea
is.
of
It's just
we're
like
rating.
easy to watch. You don't have to like.
Yeah,
think about
exactly.
anything. It's
Exactly,
like,
yeah.
It is a film I could probably watch so many times, and there's not many films you can do that with.
Like, it's not the greatest film ever made, but it's probably my favorite of all time. Because like, you know,
Yeah.
you see like The Wolf of Wall Street, or The Godfather, they're made so much better, but also they're really long.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
because there's a very big difference between your favourite films and what are
And, yeah.
technically the best films.
'Cause a lot of it is your own personal
Yeah,
experience.
exactly.
and feeling with
So
it.
there's very much of a difference between what my favourite film is to what I think like the best film
Yeah.
ever made is or like the greatest like in all aspects.
Well, then give it a 10. Do it.
No, I'm
Do
not,
it,
I'm
first
not-
ever 10.
I'm not giving it a 10.
All right, then.
I can't justify that.
Time for the trivia round.
Questions.
Right. So do I start?
Yes, you do.
So as always, the guest has written me and Alfie 3 questions.
the guest.
The guest.
The androgynous
Lewis,
beings
this
that across
week.
the table.
Yeah.
Has written 3 questions and he's going to ask them and we're going to see who can answer them correctly. And
Right.
probably not going to get them correct.
You prepared for the
Lord.
first question?
No.
Right. Tell me when you're ready.
Yes.
Oh, you're ready.
I'm not quite ready.
What song plays when Marty first enters 1950s Hill Valley? It's a very easy song. Everyone knows it. Everyone's heard it.
Oh wait, okay. I think I know
Don't
what it is.
Google it, Harry. Put your phone down.
No, I'm writing
he's
it
writing
down.
it down.
Writing it
Yeah,
down. I'm
sure.
not looking it up.
Sure.
As I swear,
No idea.
I do. No, I'll tell you the
I
answer.
don't know the soundtrack.
So final
I've got
answer, Alfie.
nothing.
I think it's Mr. Sandman.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Oh, one to me. Come back.
Right. You ready for question?
He's saying that. Oh no.
Question 2. Right.
Question 2. What was the name of Doc Brown's dog in the 1950s?
Oh no. This one.
Oh, shit.
Do you really know it?
Yeah, I do.
Do you really know it?
Yeah, I do.
This is. I remember him saying it.
Yeah.
And this is.
I know this one.
Does it begin with a C?
Depends what letter you think C is.
It's a relative term, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
The
think
letter C can.
You know,
it doesn't
like
exist in half the
Polish,
languages. You know,
It's a different sound, I think.
in Polish it is Google Translate.
I'm gonna have to take a guess because I can't fully remember. What? You said Cleopatra?
He just give you it.
It's not Cleopatra. I don't know.
Can't say that.
I'm gonna guess at Clement.
Clement, no. Close.
Copernicus.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
we are.
That guy's right.
I couldn't remember.
It's
I
Copernicus.
remember
Do you know
saying it,
Who
but
Copernicus was?
no.
Who's a
I'm assuming he was a
astronomer,
scientist
wasn't
or
he?
something.
Yes.
It was a
Italian
what?
astronomer.
Renaissance polymath and astronomer.
He was, yeah.
Fair enough. So that's 1-1 then.
Was
He looks a bit
Italian or was
like
he
me.
French.
He looks a bit like you.
He does actually, yeah. That is true.
Oh yeah, Lewis has just shown us a picture and he
Oh, so
does
he's
look a bit
Polish.
like Lewis.
Nicolas
Right then.
Copernicus.
Final
Last
question
question.
then. 1-1. I'm a bit annoyed I didn't get that, but
It's all right.
Right, final question. Who attacks Doc Brown after he steals their plutonium?
Oh.
We have to get both words right.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to say Harry Peden?
wait. Well, I'm sure you've given.
Sorry, that
both
was a bit
words
loud
right.
there.
I'm assuming it's Libyan terrorists.
Wrong.
Libyan rebels.
Wrong.
Really?
Libyan nationalists.
Oh, it's nationalists. Oh, right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Just the Libyans.
Yeah, we called them Libyan terrorists watching it yesterday, but I remembered that they weren't terrorists.
Well,
Anyway.
we both said the wrong thing.
That's fair, yeah. All good.
No, that's
then.
good. So then the final question we ask everyone is, how relevant do you think this film is today?
Wait till the second one.
Yeah, wait till they make the sequel.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
I think it's pretty relevant. I still see people talk about it, and like,
It's definitely a classic, isn't it?
yeah, it's one of those films. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's
Everyone's
something,
seen
if
it.
you mention like the decade of the 80s to people, it's going to be like, oh, you know Back to the Future? You know, it'll
Yeah.
come up in
Back
conversation
to
at
the
some
Future.
I
point.
do know Back to the Future.
You do now. It'll come up in conversation at some point.
Predicted all the roadmen going about in puffer jackets as well.
Sure. In
For
America.
iconic film.
In America. Yeah, I think
Oh, no.
it's definitely. I mean, I think everyone should watch this film until the end of time. Time? Anyone?
Sorry, Harry, you got me laughing there.
1.21 gigawatts is the necessary energy for what?
1.21.
To power the DeLorean.
No, it's to get through filming of this podcast. And that's the outro of this episode. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening to our Back to the Future episode. As we mentioned at the beginning, the next 2 episodes coming out will be Back to the Future 2,
Sorry
and you
for
guessed
everyone.
it, Back to the Future 3.
Yes. Slight
So
apology
if-
because that is 1990.
Oh,
But-
yeah. Are we going to bring this up now?
Yeah, we may as well. Essentially, it's
We're
kind
not
of felt a
not
bit
going to
unfair.
do it.
Yeah.
It's not like...
Be
Because
prepared.
it obviously it does fall outside of the 80s.
You will enjoy it, and be prepared for 90s Cinema Club with Lewis Willoughby and Ethan.
Oh
Dunn.
yeah, that's our
John
next
Beat.
plug actually. So obviously Lewis here and our friend Ethan might be, probably not. This is mainly a joke. they want to be the
Lewis is shaking his head right now.
90s cinema club. So maybe look out for that in the future.
Endorsed by us.
With films such as
Producers.
Fight Club, Truman Show,
God, you've got.
other films from the 90s.
It probably won't happen, but you could create like a fake.
Are we
account.
doing like a fake plug of something
We are
that's
doing a
never
fake
going to
plug,
happen?
Well, I gave you the sponsorship money, Harry.
Yes, we
Nah,
got
so
5
you
pence.
got 5p off you.
Anyone
Alfie just
who
knocked
didn't
up-
see that, I did a drum roll on the table and knocked Lewis's microphone off.
That probably sounded really bad.
That'd be quite funny actually.
I apologise.
He went in the drink.
So we'll do the usual plugs then.
Yep.
You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook,
Twitch.
TikTok,
We don't have
not
a
Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Which all the episodes
all
are
the
now
episodes
up
are on YouTube.
on YouTube. So if you want to listen to the podcast on there, feel free.
Can't
You can listen to the podcast
You can,
on
yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods,
Yep, Google Podcasts.
Google Podcasts.
Rate
and-
5 stars.
That's true.
Please
We've
do
actually
re-
never said that, I don't think.
Yeah, true. You can also
Like and
contact
subscribe.
Bro,
That's true, that too. You know?
Notification bell.
That would be great.
You can also contact us via email
yeah.
at the 80cinemaclub@gmail.com.
Please don't sign us up for any dodgy websites. But if you do, make sure it's in Harry's name.
please get in touch with us.
Gosh.
We'd really
Who
love
wrote
to
this
hear what
script?
everybody thinks, of what we're doing.
Yeah.
If you hate us, get in touch. Why is it?
All right. Yeah.
If you hate us, get
Keep
in
in
touch.
touch.
If you
What
really
else?
like
There was
us,
something else
get
I
in
wanted to
touch.
mention.
If you want to call us, you should call 07955.
No, shut up. Lewis is trying to say my phone number. Anyway, we're gonna finish there because this is getting a bit
Wait,
chaotic.
I swear, right. I might have to mention it in the next episode because I swear there's something else I was going to mention.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
you
we'll
don't
just,
want me to end
if it comes back to me, it'll be an episode of the next one.
Okay, so we're gonna wait a week for Alfie's announcement.
I'm going to have to make something up if there's nothing there as well. Anyway,
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
goodbye.
Bye
for me.
bye.